All right, guys, check this out. These boys came to the booth. Turns out this is a dude on the Wanderlodge forum called Bad Andy. I've been wanting to meet this dude forever. He's like an electronic wizard. Converted this old Wanderlodge. It was originally a 6V92 mechanical, 330 horse. Converted it to a 400 horsepower D-Deck 3 fire truck engine. He did all the wiring himself. Super clean. It's really cool. He's got big injectors in it. Said it was about 500 horse. Allison 4000 automatic. This thing is just gangster. All sorts of electronics on the inside. We're gonna talk him into giving us a tour. Well, tell me your name first of all.
Andy.
Andy
from Wisconsin. I don't know, whatever that means.
This is what, 86?
83.
83. It's even older than I thought.
Yeah. PT35 Wanderlodge. So that means it's a pusher with a tag axle. So the engine's in the back. And generators in the front, right? That's all up here.
Did you do anything with the generator?
Yes, maybe a few things.
Yeah, right.
So originally, you can't see it here, but there's all this grill here. There was a radiator behind here. And in some of the later models, they use a squirrel cage blower.
Yep.
And the radiator.
Yep. Mine was on the side.
Mine
Wide body, it was on the side.
So I have the compartment, but I built all that from scratch.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so I did that. I also put a brushless head on it, new motor mounts, new injectors. I rebuilt the pump myself.
Is this still the original gen motor, though?
It's a Perkins 4108.
Okay, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and I put a 16.5 kilowatt head on it, brushless head. I barely have to run it. I have enough, electricity to, kind of...
Are the Perluxes factory, dude?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
That's sick.
I think almost all the old Wanderlodges, his has them.
No way.
Yeah.
Because my WB did not.
No.
They were gone by then.
His are in the bumper.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
PTs are up here.
You normally would see them in a bumper.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
seeing them in the sheet metal's awesome.
Yeah.
But I'm not used to it.
Well, so that's an FC, is the PT.
Yep.
The PTs are like a foot taller.
Okay.
So like
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But you can kind of see it now.
Yeah. They're both sitting next to each other here.
Yeah.
So these have more room, like in all these basement compartments. If you look at his, they're like down.
Yeah, they're very short. Yeah.
So there's the appropriate oil for a two-stroke and everything.
Pay attention. This guy's smart.
There you go. That's the good stuff. Right
Yep,
there.
100%.
Yeah.
I had to show the people because everyone's like 1540's fine.
No, don't do that.
Yeah, correct. That don't look normal.
It's not. It's abnormal. You know what that is? Any guess? No. It's the battery out of a Chevy Volt.
Is it really?
It's the whole thing, but I reconfigured it because it was all in series previously.
Yep.
So it was like 410 volts or whatever. So I reconfigured it. It's about 46 volts nominal.
Okay.
So I run 48 volt inverter. All that.
Because that's what the panels charge at, right?
No, I have a 48 volt MPPT that the panels run from.
Okay.
So the panels charge this battery. I can charge the battery with another charger that I actually built from telecom rectifiers, believe it or not, which are configurable. So they're 48 volts. But this is a good battery. It's 12 and a half usable kilowatt hours.
Okay.
So that's what it is.
That's quite a bit.
It's quite a bit, and I can run 2 air conditioners from it. I have a 4,400 watt inverter, big inverter.
Pretty wild to be able to run AC from a battery.
Yeah. I can't, run indefinitely with, 2 ACs and the little bit of solar I've got. I've only got 1,600 watts of solar, but the battery is actually water cooled and water heated.
I saw the lines. I was going to ask you that.
I'm not going to show you all that because you have to get on your back, but behind here, there's a small heater, and actually I built a small, tiny, literally the compressor is this big. I found an inverter-driven tiny little AC compressor.
No way.
Yeah, I bought it. It came straight from China.
Whatever.
But you know what? High quality. It's really cool. It had all the instructions for the, capillary tube or whatever you're gonna do, all that stuff. And I built that. It turns out I never need to run any of this stuff.
Really?
Yes, I did all that extra.
You went all...
I went nuts. So the temperature, because I monitor it, the temperature in this compartment is the average, basically, of the temperature from day to day.
Oh, wow.
If it's 0 degrees overnight and it's 50 degrees during the day, the average temperature
Your average
is 25.
Do you have any idea how many feet of wire you got in this thing?
Oh my God.
Or should I say miles? Should we calculate this in miles and not feet?
In miles. So, well, we can talk about the engine stuff later because that's where the mileage comes in.
Yep.
Wiring.
I love that it's like exterior, it's like an OG bus, but it is like chock full of technology that you would never expect.
Yeah, it has way more craziness going on in here than you would ever expect going down the road. And especially with the noise that it makes, like it's confusing as heck, So this is kind of interesting to me because I love it, but that's the vent for a propane tankless water heater.
Okay.
So that's a Suburban.
No way.
60. Yeah. It doesn't use that much LP. I don't have to plan ahead like, oh, am I taking a shower tonight? I better start the thing. It's like run it for 4 hours to build hot water.
No, it's like on demand. It's the best thing going.
Yeah, it takes. Well, you won't see it, but I ran a hot water loop inside. So there's the bathroom is on this side and the kitchen is on the other side. So there's a big U-shaped loop with a circulation pump. The circulation pump turns on. There's a flow valve.
Yep.
In there.
Yep.
Right, that says, oh, there's water moving. I should start heating it up. So I can, from my panel in there, from my phone or whatever, I can, turn that on, and I turn it on, 20 seconds in advance. And I have nearly instantaneous hot water at the shower or either faucet or the dishwasher or whatever. You don't waste any water.
Yeah.
That's the other part. You're not going, I'm waiting for the cold water to come out. There's a 3/8 tube this long that you have to waste.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So that was an important
much
part.
more efficient.
Yeah, because I like doing this stuff. I don't want to have to run the.
Yeah, there's no hookups here.
No.
We're in the middle of a racetrack.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, here's the back end of it, I guess. So I don't know what we want to.
I was showing him a little bit about it. Okay. I just told him that you had converted it. I mean, there's a fire truck engine, then you had converted it to DDEC 4 and built the harness, etc. And it had an Allison 4000.
I did that.
Yeah.
It had a.
Yeah, it wasn't right. That wasn't in the fire truck.
Right,
the fire truck had a 740 or maybe a 755.
Yeah, it had a 740 on it. So I had to put a new rear end. I re-geared it. It was a 373. It's a 488 now, which sounds extreme. None of the newer stuff would do that, but they don't have to run 1,800 or 2,000 RPM going down the interstate. I do. If I couldn't do calibrations myself, I never would have done it.
Yeah.
Because you can't get support.
No.
Nobody.
No, there's nobody.
I call Wayno to do it, but there's nobody else. Literally. I mean.
Yeah.
So the engine is, bits and pieces of both things, but it's just a 6V92.
What did you end up with it for injector? Because I know you had injectors built for it.
Yeah, so they were built with a higher pop pressure. They're also 10 or 15% over. So
okay.
They're not ginormous,
yep.
Right? If it, burned efficiently, whatever, used all that, that extra fuel, there should be enough fuel there for, I figure, totally topped out, like if everything was great, 550 horsepower would be the absolute max it could do. It's at 450, 460-ish now. I'm not terribly aggressive because my turbo is actually pretty undersized at the moment. That's it's a reman of the original 400 horsepower fire truck engine. I really don't need to push it harder than I am now at 450, 460 horse, whatever. I'd
imagine it gets out of its own way pretty good.
It motor's nice. The problem is it makes 24, 25 pounds of boost and stops. And it'll do that like taking off from a stop sign. Allison 4000, it's a 4th gen. It's a 2009 model year, Allison 4000.
Yeah, you're not going to see another one of those in a Wanderlodge, I promise you.
No. Not in any.
No.
Not in any of them.
No.
No.
That's the best part about it.
Yeah, it's awesome, and I love it. It shifts so nice. It works great with the Jakes, you know, the pre-select and all that stuff, and just, you know, the.
What did it come from? What was that Allison out of? Like, what was in front of it originally?
It was behind a. It was a Cummins. I think it was an ISX.
Okay.
Is what it was. It was 525 horsepower.
Yep.
And when I bought it, actually the engine was sitting next to it.
Okay.
You know, whatever. It was the engine that was hooked up to it. So the ECM, I'm not running the ECM that came with that.
I was just going to ask you, what ECM is in the transmission?
$250 on eBay was the ECM.
Really?
Yep. I made sure I got the right part number for the Gen 4, and I did a bunch of research there. And Allison programmed it. I took it to them, and they pulled the old label off. They stuck mine on it. It's got my number. It's got my name on it.
That's wild.
It's in their computer. So if I go to any Allison dealer in the U.S., they will pull the calibration that they made for me, and they'll program whatever ECM either I have or they have on their shelf or whatever, and I'm on my way.
That's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
I did not know
awesome.
they did that.
I didn't either. I'm running, I don't know if anybody cares. I have a hydraulic fan. These all came with hydraulic fans. But this, I switched over to the PWM modulated fan, so it spins up and down with the engine cooling needs.
Yeah.
Right? So.
Yeah. So normally when you put these come on with like a coolant temperature sensor, and the dash would either turn it on, it was fully on, or it was off. There was no like in between. You didn't get like a medium speed.
No.
It was on or it wasn't, and they draw a ton of power because it's hydraulic.
Yeah, like 50 horsepower.
Yeah.
Like literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
So going to a PWM,
That was a huge thing.
it's got to be great for like mileage as well as horsepower.
Yeah. Yep, and I could monitor all that stuff. Before I did the D-Deck, I actually had all that in there, and I had built my own control for it. And that was, I think with the old setup, it never went over 40%. Climbing a mountain, you know, in like 100-degree weather, climbing mountains in Colorado, never went over 40%.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So with this setup, I can get her to 100 in mountains in Colorado, because I did last year, but that's really pushing it. You know, like with the turbo thing or whatever.
Well, you got a good bit more horsepower than
way
yeah.
more.
I love all your mechanical gauges. We got fuel pressure,
Yep.
coolant temperature over here, and there's an oil pressure one down there that I didn't even notice at first glance. I had to I was peeking around, creeping on this thing. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You ain't got to have the laptop back here.
No. So, and I built all the wiring harness for the entire engine harness, the D-Deck harness, all the transmission harness I built 100% from scratch. It's all brand spanking new, all factory connectors and everything. All of the wiring for the entire D-Deck, all the power for the pumps and all that kind of stuff.
Yep. Let me come over here and then you can.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it all runs out of this, you know, sealed fuse box, right? All these connectors are sealed. The box itself is sealed.
Absolutely.
It's all modern stuff. Right?
Yep.
This is ground distribution. This thing here, it's nothing. It's just ground distribution.
I was wondering what that was. That's cool.
It's super cool because it's all sealed.
Yeah.
Right? And yeah, so it's
And then you got
nice.
2,000 ground wires running to different
Right,
places on the
right,
engine and
right.
shit.
Yep. This is
What a
great
good
piece.
thought.
Yeah, it's just a printed circuit board with some really heavy duty traces in there. There's like 4 or 5 different configurations, so you can have like 12 volts on one side and ground on the other side.
Yeah.
You know, there's
That's cool.
Yeah, it's super neat. I think Molex makes that.
And it's almost straight piped.
Yeah, it's just
It's
got
pretty
this-
close.
It's an MBRP resonator.
That's the best part about one of these is when you straight pipe it, it's 40 feet behind you, or
Yeah.
36 in
With the
this
window
case. So
closed, you can't hear it. With
Right.
the window open, it just sounds good.
yeah,
And to everybody else you're driving by, it sounds horrible. But I love the way it sounds.
I love the way these sound. Yeah,
And this one, I don't know if it's the resonator or just a combination of stuff. It sounds awesome.
yeah.
I mean, it sounds really,
6V92
really good.
sound great, dude. They
just
rip.
do. Yeah.
That fire truck I just got, dude.
Yeah.
I was pissed at myself for not straight piping it sooner.
Yeah.
I should have straight piped it
I
before
saw
I even
that.
left,
I
dude.
saw
I should have done it
Yep.
right then.
Oh, and with the D-Deck stuff, especially if you tune a little bit of that smoke control stuff.
Oh, yeah.
The throttle response.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's like a healthy big block. Whoopah! I mean, it just.
They're snappy.
Yes, very.
Way more so than people would think.
Yes.
Well, fire it up.
All right, it's cold.
That's all right. Hell yeah. Look, we drew out the neighbors. We woke up the neighbors. Dude, classic D-deck. One little puff of smoke fires right up, dude. Doesn't matter how long they set. What a treat. Bro, do I gotta pull my shoes off? You want me to pull my shoes off?
No, we're good. There's all leaves and all kinds of garbage in here.
Dude, these old seats, they just don't make them like that anymore.
No, those are super old school. Everything else is new. So I had so that's...
So was the
the
4,000 button shift when you got it, or did you do that?
No, I had to do that.
Yeah.
So the thing you can't see is I actually had to rebuild that entire console. It used to have a lever shifter.
Yeah, I was going to say, because it would have been
Right.
like the 643 or whatever that,
Yeah.
653, whatever it was, yeah.
And it had the old cruise control stuff, the old Bendix cruise control, which was air powered. These were electric switches. Back there it was air. The thing is, I couldn't fit, believe it or not, the width of the new shifter. I couldn't fit it into that console. So I had to rebuild that whole thing from scratch. And I rewrapped it and, had some parts laser cut. The Jake switches are kind of underneath back there. And,
Yeah.
but I used cruise control switches from a freight shaker.
Okay.
And
Yep.
so the the D-deck switches are on this upper panel that I need to get that redone. So
It's
actually
cool.
got some labels on it, but
Well, it looks sick. I see the engine fan. I dig your pillows, dude, with the pictures. That's
Yeah.
cool as hell.
Yeah, there you
That
go.
one's awesome,
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah, that's in.
I gotta get me.
Iowa
I gotta
a
get me
long time
some
ago.
friggin' truck pillows now.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to do that.
Yeah. So here we come to where the this would normally be where the dinette would go.
Yeah, I was just gonna. I've never seen one with like this bar.
Yeah. Well,
Was
back
this
in-
factory?
Yes. Yep. This is totally factory. 82, 83, 84. I've never seen one newer. I have seen a few other ones that came with this, but the top flips down, so you can have a table and you can put two chairs and look out the window if you want. But yeah, it's literally like it's a bar.
It's like a
There's,
total wet bar.
Cigars and whiskey in there.
Oh, that's the coolest thing, dude.
Yeah. And it's got the original ice maker.
Yep.
That all works. I have no use for it, so I will replace it with something that I enjoy, but I still haven't figured out what that is yet.
Yeah.
So I redid all the plumbing and all this stuff. I've got, like, let me turn the lights on, and look at that. There's lights.
Yeah.
And a, used kitchen, sorry. But
Oh, dude, all good. This is awesome.
yeah, built-in coffee maker, right? So you put your grounds in here and flick the thing on, and it all goes into this nice carafe.
That's pretty cool. I've never
Yeah.
seen one of those. I'm familiar with the blender deal that they
right.
have.
Yep, that
I love that. It was one of my favorite things about mine, but I didn't have the coffee maker
very
deal.
few had this. Mine didn't. I saw one at Wanderlodge Rally once, and I said, "Oh, I gotta have that because I like good coffee, and it actually brews good coffee.
Does it really?
Nice and hot. Yep. And
Yep.
It flows just the right amount. It's a good coffee maker.
Yep.
Yep. So I mostly restored that and bought it on eBay.
Oh, yeah.
You
Yep.
cannot find those things anywhere.
No, I would imagine not, because who else used them?
No, I mean nobody.
Right.
I think I know everybody that used them
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah.
But so this is my I don't know, kind of the main control.
I was gonna say you got some
panel.
kind of wild control panel in here.
Yeah, so I have let's call it telemetry, whatever. All of the systems in the bus, my goal was to be able to monitor and or control everything remotely. So I have my electrical doodads, right? All my solar stuff reporting on here.
Yeah.
I have some other things. I won't explain all those. Inverter status and some other stuff. But like I've got, that's my water pump. I can enable and disable that from here.
That's sick.
I can turn my hot water loop. Right?
Yep.
I turn that on. That goes on for 5 minutes and shuts off and whatever. And, I can,
It's got all the temperatures.
Right,
oh, yeah.
right. So it's outside
All the
temperature.
monitoring.
You're right. Yep. So, these I made all new tank sensors. So the waste tanks are they're actually pressure sensors. So it's a 0 to 1 psi pressure sensor.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. And I found some that were actually made for doing that are super robust. So
Yep.
they put up with all the stuff that goes through a black tank.
Yeah.
And they're super consistent, super accurate, and robust. They're really nice. So
Because I would imagine the regular level sensors were kind of sporadic.
it was the bolts
because they
in
would
the
get
side of the
dirty.
tank.
Yeah.
So you only had 25, 50, 75%.
Yep. Yep.
Right? That was it.
Yeah.
And yeah, those were long since.
And this is like You're right, 71%, 12%.
Yeah, yeah.
I love the panel.
Yeah, this is where the original.
I love it's all like
stuff
almost
went.
Star Trek themed, dude.
It's literally L cars is what that's called. So this
Okay.
is like the next generation kind of.
That's the Star Trek I grew up watching.
Yeah, me too.
Right? Yeah,
absolutely.
So, yeah.
I don't want to hate on the other ones.
No,
the TNG, that's my game.
that was it, man.
Yeah, that all actually runs on a Raspberry Pi. I designed a printed circuit board that does all the I/O, so all the sensors and all that stuff. That's all CAN bus connected. So it's independent, obviously, from the engine stuff. That all comes in here and it gets stored and logged. So I have, not that it matters, but I've got like 6 years worth of my black tank usage. But I have all the other stuff, all the electrical stats, right? I can look back at the previous week and, it's kind of interesting to see, like, are my solar panels actually putting out like they should?
Yeah.
Did something break?
Right.
There's things like that.
Data.
Yeah, there's data, right?
We talked about that.
Right?
Off camera, me and him had a long conversation about
yeah.
data and what it can do for you.
Yeah.
If you choose to collect it.
So here's some data. I don't know if you want to look at that, but
hell yeah, let me see if I can get in there. Oh boy, she doesn't like that.
No.
Well, there we go.
So, you can see
under bed temperature. That's a good one to have.
Oh, well,
that's a good one to have.
So, you have no idea. So I live in Wisconsin. This sits outside. When I redid all the plumbing, I saw the freeze damage.
Yeah, absolutely.
All the plumbing in the chases, it's all PEX now. It's all redone.
Well, back in the day, it was copper and it was
copper.
insulated and electric wrapped, right? Like mine was on the WB.
Yeah. And it worked fine. There was no issue with it, but
until somebody doesn't heat it, and then it sits outside and it freezes, and then it's broke.
Yep, and that's going to happen at least once in 40 years.
100%.
Guaranteed.
Yep.
And mine was like that. It wasn't like super bad, and they had been repaired in the past. When I bought it, it didn't leak and all that. But I was redoing. I wanted to do it the right way. So I have, I actually ran temperature sensors in the chases. So I have an entire simple, but a network of these temperature sensors, and I can see what the temperature is, like behind the refrigerator, in the chase, in the bathroom, like in the coldest spot under there. And
absolutely.
Spots under the bed, and then back here, and then up into the kitchen here. So
what's by default, if your coldest spaces are above freezing,
right,
then you're in no danger.
Right, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
And if for some reason I forget something, but I'll get an alert on my phone, like literally this will send me a text, it will send me an email, and obviously I see my email and stuff immediately, and it would say, right, turn all the heat on, or whatever you're going to do. This is the location of the original.
Yeah, they had the original panel here.
Yeah.
And you just made it cooler.
Yeah, I integrated all the stuff that I could that was already here, made everything else better that I could, like the tank level sensors, a huge improvement.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And the control, like you can see the heat went off right there.
Yep.
I don't know if I ran it long enough because it was cold, but this is the hot water, and that's hot water right there.
Oh yeah, it's hot.
Like actually hot.
Yeah, it's hot.
Just let it run. It's lukewarm.
Yep.
Not even.
No.
So, again,
this hangless is the jam, and I think a lot of people are scared of it.
Yeah.
But it requires a little bit of thought to make it work.
Cherry.
Aces, yes.
Right.
Yep.
So, anyways, I don't know, kind of dirty, some other stuff, right? It came with the sharp carousel. I put this fancy dishwasher in here.
Oh wow, I thought that was an oven, dude. I didn't even realize that was a dishwasher.
Everybody does, but it's not. This is actually a way to save water.
Really?
Yeah, because like the book that came with it has literally exactly to 1/10 of a gallon how much water it consumes on each cycle. So I did a little bit of messing around and whatever to figure out how much it really needs to clean all my stuff.
Yeah.
It works. It is a great dishwasher. Like it's made for like an apartment countertop kind of deal.
Okay.
So I had to again.
Did you overnight that thing from Japan, dude? Like,
no.
That's not some stuff that you usually see.
No, there's tons
Amazon, really?
Yeah, yes, and they're not expensive.
I would have never guessed.
Yep. They're all made by the same place in China, but they all have different names and different like styles of buttons and stuff.
Man, I tell you, if you didn't really look at that, you would think it was part of the oven. Like, you would never know.
And
it matches so well.
Yeah. Well, and I picked that, right? Like, I switched to this residential style.
100% the way to go, dude.
Oh, so
the medics
better.
are junk,
Oh,
dude.
man. And this is like, I think it has 30% more space in it, too. I mean, it's like cavernous. I mean, you can.
They're so much bigger than an RV
right?
fridge.
Yeah, you can stack pizzas in there. You couldn't get one pizza in those, in my old one.
Yep.
So anyways, I don't know. There's a whole
thing is aces, dude.
Yeah,
I really wanted to show the people the
pantry, and it's interesting.
It's just the updates are the coolest part. Like what you've done to it is bar none something you'll never see anywhere else. That's what attracted me to it.
Yeah.
It's just that's what I like. Is the old blended with the new in a way where it's super functional.
Me too.
And still keeps that flavor that it had from back in the day.
I love like the feeling, like even, not that I'm some kind of artist or something, but like all the LEDs are the same color temperature when I redid everything and they're warm.
I would have never noticed they were LEDs, dude.
No,
it looks like regular lighting.
Right?
Yeah.
And especially at night. Like the feeling you get in here is like you're comfortable, it's inviting, you can have a glass of wine or you can have a beer or a whiskey or whatever. Like all these warm things.
Yeah.
It's just comfortable. You hop in the Lazy Boy. I've got a 40-inch TV I throw up on the dash.
Hell yeah.
Which seems weird.
Hey, I'm surprised it doesn't power down onto the dash yet, Andy. What are you doing?
I got plans. You don't have it. You have no idea. I got plans. This originally had an air-powered. So I built this electric setup. That's obviously it's a little dirty, but the cool thing is this, like, it's only an inch thick or whatever. It's an aluminum plate.
Oh no way!
Yeah, so it's super thin. Super robust. The dogs love standing there and sticking their nose out the window.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome,
but
dude.
It stops and starts, and it's
way smoother than that air one was.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that air one was like...
Yeah, and I don't have to wait for air.
Right. Yeah, it works all the time.
Yeah, and the cool thing about it is it stops and starts where it's supposed to, and the mechanism that moves it underneath there is actually a Freightliner window regulator thing.
Okay.
So like a modern one.
Okay.
And
yep.
So they actually have, it's really interesting.
With the cable, right?
It's like a cable in a tube.
Yes.
So the tube is a big U shape.
Yep.
And there's like a little trolley on. It's like a giant pipe cleaner, a super robust pipe, and the motor just runs on the pipe cleaner, and it is awesome. I can't believe how well it works. I did a bunch of tests when I was designing all this. I saw that online. I'm like, I wonder if that would work for this. So I should have taken some video of some of the crazy stuff I did, but I actually set up a test. That thing would lift like 70 pounds off of the floor.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. It was cool. So I'm like,
that's awesome.
This is a deal.
It's super smooth too.
Yeah.
It's
quiet,
smooth.
Yeah.
What a good idea.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of stuff like that on here. I just,
Well, hey, I really appreciate you showing me around. This has been a treat for me.
You.
I saw this build thread way back in the day. I mean, I know the people here on the channel are not used to doing nerd shit on the internet with me, but I did all the nerd shit, and it's cool to finally meet you and see this thing in person.
Oh, you too. I'm glad we could hook up here.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah. All right, y'all. That's going to do it for this one. I appreciate y'all watching. Andy's bus is just next level cool, and it's one of them things I had so much cool stuff he added to it. I just had to show it to you. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for sticking with me through it. I know it's a lot of talking, but I mean, if you're into this kind of stuff, this is nerd shit, and it's just cool. So, anyway, huge shout out to you patrons. Greatly appreciate you guys. And if you haven't already, pop on over to old2stroker.com and make sure you check back frequently, because we're always adding stuff like these brand new Jimmy Diesel keychains or these Detroit Diesel power fridge magnets. There's always fresh stuff over there on the store. So if you don't, I sometimes don't announce them in a video, but I try to always bring you guys new and cool stuff. So also, I want to make mention, we have added a new section to the website called Where's Wayno? And if you check back in here, this will show you all the events I'm going to be at and where they are and links to those events so you can, if you want to come meet me or whatever. Thanks for watching. Get yourself something nice. We will see you next time.